This is the Kalkhoff Tasman Classic Impulse 8. It's a mouthful. It's an 8-speed electric bike. Kalkhoff is a German company. They're actually owned by the same parent company as Focus, and they're new to the United States for kind of late 2014, 2015. I'm checking this bike out at the New Wheel in San Francisco, testing it out on some hills, and it's doing really well. Part because it's got that awesome mid-drive motor system. But before I get to that, I want to just point out that, because the battery and the motor are both mounted like low and centrally on this bike, you're going to get improved balance. It's just good weight distribution, but also, this is a step-through frame, and a lot of times these tend to feel a little bit softer and kind of flexy, right? And usually it's got like a rear hub motor, maybe even a rear battery mount, and that really contributes to the frame flex. This one, it doesn't flex as much, and I really think it's because of where they put the motor and everything. But you can also see that this is pretty thick tubing, and they've reinforced it here on the little top tube and the down tube. One thing they didn't include is a bottle cage mount. I mean, maybe they could have put one there or there. It's not a deal killer. A lot of electric bikes forego those, and you do have a rack. They use this kind of standard gauge tubing. It's got a nice pannier blocker, even a mini pump built in. So you could, put your water bottle back here. I like to call that out. Max load, 25 kilograms, about 55 pounds. I love that this bike has like full length metal matching fenders. It's got front and rear lights, and those are powered off of this Shimano dynamo hub in the front. That's pretty awesome. So it means that if the battery pack runs dry, which it's a fairly big battery, so that probably shouldn't happen unless you're really pushing it, you're still going to have lights, and they just look nice. It's silver, really beautiful. This thing is really upgraded in some interesting ways, right? You've got a rigid front fork, and so the bike, it's a little bit stiffer feeling, but you've got this nice leather Brooks saddle that's sort of sprung, even Brooks leather grips, okay? And then the tires, they're a little bit larger, Schwalbe City Lights, and I think these are like 28 by 1.75. So this is kind of like, a 700C. It's very wide. It's not a 29er like a mountain bike, the huge wheels, but it's like a road bike wheel in terms of diameter. But then the width here, 1.75, it's definitely a little bit larger. So these aren't like Big Ben, like Fat Frank, huge balloon tires, but they're definitely a step up from kind of the hybrids, and I think that smooths out the ride a little bit. So again, just really interesting. And in addition to that rear rack, which is almost set up for touring or something, we've got more braze-ons on the front fork, so you could add another sort of pannier or something like that. So it's sort of interesting to see a bike that to me looks like a cruiser, something like a Pedigo, step-thru cruiser or something like that, or an Electra Townie Go. They all look like this. In fact, this really looks like an Electra Townie Go to me, but it is much more capable. It's just got a lot more gears, 8, and this is an internally geared 8-speed Nexus hub. That lets the chain stay really tight. It's not going to drop off as much. It's going to stay cleaner, hopefully stay in tune, and require fewer tune-ups. And if the bike tips, there's no derailleur that's going to get bumped. You can shift at standstill, which is pretty cool. It's got the grip shifter. I really like that. It's just, it's a good setup. It's simple that way, but you've still got 8 speeds. And then when you combine that with this mid-drive motor, this is an Impulse 2.0 mid-drive. This thing is sensing your speed. You can see the sensor right there with the magnet. It's sensing your pedal cadence, and it's sensing your pedal torque. So it's taking 3 things into account. It even has shift sensing, like physical shift sensing. So you see the cable runs through the frame. All of them are integrated, so they look nice, but it's sensing when you shift, and it cuts out the motor briefly to help reduce strain on the gearing component. So really premium stuff. This is a big upgrade from just like a basic hub motor or something like that, and that's reflected in the price. This thing's like $3,800. That's a lot for kind of a cruiser sort of bike, but it's going to last a lot longer. The battery pack here, this is a 36 volt 17 amp hour pack. I mean, this is enormous. This bike could do 60 plus miles depending on the pedal assist level that you choose. And of course, the battery is also removable. Got this nice built-in plastic handle. You could charge it on or off the bike, which is great. It's got a little LED power indicator. We're kind of low right now. Someone's been riding this bike. Great, lithium ion cells. Gonna last a long time. Kalkhoff has been, mastering their technology over in Europe, and then, they bring it to the Americas, and it really seems impressive compared to some of the bikes that have been here. One thing it doesn't have is quick release on the front or rear, and again, that's because it's got the dynamo hub and sort of the internally geared hub, and I guess that's all right. The tires, I'm sure they're kind of higher quality. They've got the nice reflective sidewall, got this nice adjustable length kickstand, just the whole thing is great. And then the brakes. So check this out. These are Magura HS11 hydraulic rim brakes. Okay, check that out. That's Kalkhoff's the only company I've seen that makes electric bikes that has these. You might be like, well, what about disc brakes? Aren't they better? Well, disc brakes are sometimes preferable for off-road riding because they put the braking component in the middle of the wheel out of the way of mud and water and stuff. But the leverage is much less here at the middle. You're trying to stop all of this energy out here in the middle. Actually, rim brakes stop you better. They can be smoother and not heat up as much because you've got a much bigger surface area to work with. So, it's not a problem using rim brakes, and hydraulic rim brakes are just going to be super smooth, really fluid. They don't require much hand strength to pull. So I'm actually really impressed. And then they've got this great kind of a unique bell set up, an adjustable stem, this nice gull wing handlebar design. I guess, I want to point out the stem again. It's got the nice markings and everything like that, but you have to have a tool to adjust it. And I can't say one way or the other, but I have gone off curbs and stuff with cheaper stems like this, and they start to get loose. I would imagine that this one, it's like a name brand stem, and I bet it works pretty well. I also like that they have a little wire management system going on here and a little bit right here as well. So, great bike all around. I can just tell this is high quality stuff, and I've tested other Kalkhoff bikes. So to have an option like this that's a little bit more fun, to me it kind of seems like a girl's bike. I'm sure guys could use it. There's nothing wrong with having a step-thru. That's cool, but this is like a kick butt, bike that you could really go on this thing. It's not just like it looks fun. This is a performance machine here for sure. So okay, so we got the battery charged. The motor, again, it's a 250 watt mid-drive system, but it's actually very capable. Don't be put off by the lower rating there, because that's when you combine that with the the gears in the back, that's actually very capable. And I've been climbing these hills here in San Francisco, no problem. Okay, so to turn it on, there's this nice little ring. It's rubberized, pretty well protected against water and the elements. There's a power button there, and this is actually backlit, so you can see this when you're riding. Very cool. When you press that, then the display comes to life here, and it kind of shows your battery level, your speed, your pedal assist level, and it gives you several options between assistance or just pedaling on your own. And of course, as you get more pedal assist, you're going to be kind of, wearing your battery down a little bit more quickly. So that's the trade-off. So it says hello. It does kind of swivel to reduce glare like that, which I like, and it adapts right to the stem. So there's no extra plastic. It's all kind of metal, and the wires are all run really nice. So obviously I think this is cool. It's not removable, but it's small, it kind of stays out of the way. So as you can see, there's the speed, there's the battery level indicator I was talking about. There's looks like an odometer, and there's a set button down here at the bottom, and you press that, you get different readouts. So that's trip distance. Let's see. I guess that's it. Trip distance? I don't know, I might be missing something. Right now we're in power mode, which is the highest. Go down to sport, and then down to eco. or nothing. So that's basically it. You got 3 levels of assist. It is backlit, which is really cool, so you can see at dusk or dawn when you're riding this. And there aren't quite as many options as the bigger display on some of the even higher end Kalkhoff bikes or Focus bikes, but it's works well enough. Definitely keeps it simple. There's less to break, less to get confused on. Oh, and this lock, this uses the same key as the battery, and it's a cafe lock, so you kind of push this down and a metal rod goes through and it keeps the bike from being moved. Someone could still grab this, pick it up and run, and it's like 56 pounds, so it's not the lightest bike, but it's just kind of a cool thing. I see those a lot in Europe, like a frame lock or whatever, so glad I didn't forget that. It's just another little extra. So I'm going to start this out. It is pedal assist only, so there's no throttle, but that means you get a workout. I'm just going to go ahead and start pedaling and try to show you the motor. Just straight into a climb here. Some pretty steep streets in San Francisco, and I'm doing all right. I'm not really having to strain my knees too much. You could hear it clicking a little bit there because I'm in the lowest gear. Maybe I'll take it up to like 3. There we go. Super smooth now. Pretty responsive too. A little bit of delay. Very quiet considering that it's got full-length fenders. I really didn't hear them rattling at all. That was good. Definitely felt the brakes too. It's a nice upright seating position. Very cool. Yeah, I love not having to lean forward too far because it just keeps your back and your neck in much better shape. So this bike actually feels pretty comfortable to me, and it's been fun cruising around on it tonight. So yeah, that's the Kalkhoff Tasman Classic Impulse 8. For the full write-up on this with all the specs and stuff, I'll see you back at ElectricBikeReview.com. And if you end up with this bike and you want to do a video response or chat in the forums or whatever, I'll see you there. Look forward to hearing your thoughts on this. Ride safe.